And we are very quickly jumping back in. I did not realize, it took me a little bit too long to realize that the Chinese clean feed was actually wrapping up Creator versus Bunny and getting into ByuN versus Cure, the mid-series there in game number 2 so far. Oh, things looking quite back and forth here. We're 20 minutes into game 2 and things looking in favor of ByuN for now. It looks like, okay, you know, it always takes a little bit, but okay, we gotta take it all in. Okay, 4 base versus 4 base. Cure doesn't have a main. Cure, he floated his main over to take us a 4th base, but the drop comes in, and oh my god, we may be coming in towards the tail end of this game actually, because Cure, he is hurting economically here, losing so many SCVs. Does have an army present out on the map, but oh, that's gonna be a kill on the 4th. That was actually the main base that had floated over. Cure pushing right through the center though. He has a tank advantage, but boys are being pulled, and ByuN is looking to force the ace match. He's getting on top of the army, getting on top of these tanks, and looking to clean this up as well. Cure, what does he really have left here? Again, I apologize for jumping in at a really awkward moment. I didn't realize that the Chinese clean feed had jumped from one series to the other, and yeah, there it is. GG is going to be called, and ByuN is going to be tying it up 1-1. GG. Which means we're going to be jumping into the ace match. I am ready for it here. It means that we will be a part of game number 3. Oh, sorry, of game number 3. As we are tied up, and game 3 is going to be on Hecate. Again, I do apologize for it being a little bit chaotic there. I hadn't realized that the clean feed had jumped over, which means we had a little. We basically could have casted like maybe the last 5 minutes of that. That was available to us, but here we go. We're now getting into the ace match, and we will actually be in the game itself to determine who faces off against Clem. Here we go. I'm just gathering my bearings here, but yeah, game 3, the ace match here. Bit of a back and forth. We completely missed out on game 1, so we don't really know what happened in game number 1, but yeah, we caught the tail end of game 2 at least, and you know, we got some information there. It's fine, kind of, not really. As loading in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have our South Korean Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Here we go. But I was caught off guard because the clean feed was originally covering Bunny versus Creator, and they wrapped up, and I guess as soon as they wrapped up, they had, so basically what's really cool, so I have to commend the production team for SC Boy. They have like 4 observers, for those who don't know. They have like 4 observers, and they fan them out, and they're all in their own games, basically. You know, they had people in Hero versus Clem, for example. They had people in ByuN versus Cure, and they had people in Creator versus Bunny. So once they wrapped up with one series, bam, when it comes to their production, they go straight to another. So it's really cool. It's really cool that they're able to do that. And I missed that basically. Like I saw the clean feed. I'm like, oh yeah, they got Bunny versus Creator, whatever. They're finishing off that. I'm gonna be vigilant for the TvT, and they had swapped the stream over, so did miss it. But now we're here for the ace match. Here we go. As for now, it is going to be double gas openers from both players, double gas from ByuN, double gas from Cure as well. This is going to be leading into a faster factory, into a delayed CC, so very aggressive openers overall. I'm unfamiliar with how the openers did pan out in the first 2 games. Very unfamiliar, but for now, looks like aggression is on the table. Predictions will be open for the next series. As a reminder, winner of this goes up against Clem. ByuN versus Cure Gumi score. Oh, oh, the scores, man. Oh, the scores. Well, again, we're tied up. We're tied up 1-1. But now Reaper is going to be going across the map, trying to get a bit of a scout off. Bit of a bold maneuver here from Cure. It is a little bit risky. You cannot afford to lose this Reaper as we are dipping into the main base. There is a Reaper lying in wait, and he gets the hell out of there upon confirming the opener, upon confirming that the factory is already done. CC is on the way on location for both players. So far, both players are mirroring each other. Cyclone production has commenced, and in TvT, Cyclones have become another kind of pivotal unit in the matchup. Kier has been very fond of going reactor to Cyclones. I'm curious if that's going to be the case here. I'm curious if that is going to be the case for ByuN as well. There is a reactor on the way for both players. I'm curious if we're going to be going for the add-on swap for now. Reapers are going to be dancing with each other. Ooh, they will back off. And so far, Kier will hold. Again, the add-on swap looks a little bit more natural from the side of ByuN, less so from Kier because his buildings are a little bit more spread apart. So I'm very curious kind of which kind of direction our player is going to be taking us. But now there we go. Medevac drops are on the horizon here. No add-on swaps. They're going to be going for Cyclone drops. And there's a lot of power behind going for a double Cyclone drop. They actually kill workers very quickly. Doesn't take many seconds at all to kill, what, 4, 5, 6 SCVs. So this can be very potent. You can see that ByuN is already moving out, looking to meet up with that medevac as it boosts across the map. Meanwhile, Kier is waiting for the medevac back at home before he also moves out. There we go. Here comes that Cyclone drop. Behind this, going for an add-on swap here, getting into, I imagine, Raven production. Likewise, ByuN also moving out as well. The ships, they pass in the night. Both players, they reactor swap into, they add-on swap into reactors, and we are continuing heli production, Cyclone production even. Get TvT all about those Cyclones. Going to be going for a double drop into that natural waste. SCVs are getting picked up. ByuN now pulling the trigger a little bit late though. But so far, both players, they do lose workers. ByuN going right for the main base. Likewise, so is Kier, but Kier, he loses one of his Cyclones. Uh-oh. We get a mule. ByuN does get a mule across the map. Meanwhile, Kier getting another couple of SCVs. He gets 7 in total. The medevac will barely boost away. At the same time, ByuN, he's not done. He boosts into the natural. And he gets 6, soon to be 7 workers as well. So far, ByuN, I want to say, has traded better. Kier killed 1 extra worker, but ByuN kept both Cyclones alive. Kier lost 1. So far, a better trade. As ByuN could threaten a dive into that natural again, but he's getting caught out. Oh no, the Cyclones! They do catch the drop here of ByuN, and it looks like he's gonna be forced back. After losing that Cyclone, now I have to give it more in favor here of Kier. Both drops headed in similar directions. But it looks like they will miss each other once again. No, they won't. He's looking for it. Up, he finds it. He finds the medevac. It looks like he will get a kill on the medevac. Nice control there, nice drop, and it looks like we trade evenly. We kill each other. The drops in the Cyclones. Aye, aye, aye. Oh my god, looking at the units lost tab here, and pretty even trades as well. Again, ByuN did lose 1 extra SCV, so slightly in favor of Kier. But I believe ByuN also killed a mule as well, so pretty close as we are continuing Cyclone production. Again, just this entire time we've been reactoring out Cyclones, and as we mentioned before, Cyclones have become a very pivotal moment or pivotal part of TvT. That doesn't mean we're playing mech. You can see that we're transitioning into bio. Like, additional Raxes are on the way, Stim is on the way, but for the early to mid game, it is about the Cyclones. And the Ravens, they face off. Good control out of Kier, he catches the Raven. Big pick off there. As ByuN is going to be forced back. Now down a Raven. Down 2, actually. Now he has to replace them. He has to rebuild. Kier coming out on top there. Behind this, Liberator comes in. 2 SCVs go down. Quite a bit of lost mine time as well. The Cyclones have to turn back around. Another reason as to why ByuN was down a Raven is because he did go into Cyclones a little bit earlier. Liberators a little bit earlier. Still a little bit fast. Oh, behind this thing's going to be calming down, and finally we're transitioning into Biotank. We have Biotank here from ByuN, a Biotank from Kier. Again, Cyclones are just for the early to mid game. Then we can get into, of course, the more traditional Biotank form of composition. ByuN is sharking around, looking at the unit tab here. ByuN, he is behind in Cyclones, but he's in position to catch a drop. To catch a 3rd CC if it were to be taken. ByuN did get eyes on the building CC, so he just wants to try to confirm its timing and also delay it if possible as well. As ByuN is working on his own base. Meanwhile, Liberator does arrive once again. Raven harass even. 2 SCVs. Liberator to the main. Kier losing a bit much here. Does get the lock on. Will shut down this Lib. But so much lost mining time. And just like that, ByuN, he's finding himself ahead in the economy. He is finding himself ahead. Raven harass continuing at this point. Getting into, of course, marine production, tanks as well. Both players are. I believe Cure is going to be the first to expand, and there we go. Third base is now being taken on location, but the Cyclones are in position to get eyes on this. They should be dipping in soon to confirm, as ByuN is taking his own third. And as the dust does settles, ByuN has a slight worker advantage when it comes to overall tanks and Ravens. That's where I have to give Cure the edge when it comes to army. As I say that, Cure is pushing out, and those Cyclones are getting ready to push in. Uh-oh. Things are about to get a little bit rowdy here as Cure, he's halfway across the map. It looks like he's going to be committing towards this push. Likewise, ByuN also going to be hitting the third base at the same time. Both players may end up losing their thirds. But ByuN could just go straight to the main. We do go for the scan. We do get eyes on the third base. Cure, he reveals his army, and that's go time for ByuN. He can hit multiple locations at once. As he has to give up on the third base. Tanks are repositioning. We double jump into the main at the same time. Cyclones towards the third. The boys are being pulled. Tanks are sieging. We get one. We do force a pickup at the same time. Cure pushing forward. Does get a disable on one of those tanks. There's one more tank behind this. The double disable. Every tank is disabled, which means Cure, he can break in. He's breaking into the natural base. He will lose his third. Oh, it's going to burn down. But he takes the third base of his opponent as well as the natural. And ByuN doesn't really have much left at home to defend. He's racing back home. That's a kill, by the way, on the CC. A kill on both bases. ByuN down to one mining base. Cure still on two. The army has returned back home. But can we deal with this? The auto targets are thrown down. Good target firing on the Ravens. But it looks like we should get us around. We should clean this up. The tank's getting a lot of damage in. And it's looking like a much more even trade. And that is not a good thing for ByuN. He's down to one base. One CC remaining, and Cure, he's just rallying across the map. He has a second army, and he's snowballing out of control. ByuN, I did appreciate his like multi-pro harassment here, pushing in the third and the natural, but part of me also feels like he could have done that a little bit sooner, waited a little bit too long, and the pushing power of Cure was just far too much. The Raven advantage as well meant that the tanks of ByuN meant nothing. ByuN is going for a Hail Mary play. He's going for a Doom Drop across the map. I say a Doom Drop, a double. It's all he has, a double drop. Meanwhile, Cure comes in. The boys are being pulled. GG gets called. It's just too much to overcome. And Cure will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Cure will take it here in the end. Again, a pretty back and forth opener, especially with the Cyclones, with their openers as well, with the drop play. But again, Cure did get a slight advantage, and when it came to his push, it was a lot more threatening and terrifying compared to his opponents. Again, ByuN, to wind it back, remember, ByuN, he was focusing his Raven energy on harassing, on auto-tart harass. Meanwhile, Cure had banked up his energy instead, going for a dedicated push across the map, going for a very dedicated push towards the third base. And because he had so much energy, because he had so much energy for disables and auto tarts, he could not just break the third, but he could keep pushing towards the natural and towards the main as well. ByuN, he was lacking that pushing power. His army and his units were more in position to harass, less so attack. And with that, things do go in favor of Cure. My condolences to ByuN. His tournament run has concluded, and Cure has advanced on to face off against his teammate, Clem, in another TvT. Let's go. Let us go.